anyone that sticks out?
Wow. Of course, my group Pimp and Strong, Element. It's like a whole lot of people that I just surrounded myself with and by, and I just support the art. So it's like I've shared the stage with a lot of great poets, including some HBO deaf poets at different events I've done. But regardless of how many times I've shared the stage, I still consider myself a fan. Mics, shows, performing for somebody in their house, I still get nervous. I think people would consider me a great poet. I know that I write well, but I'm also very humble at the same time. I'm a confident person, but I still know that there's some days I still mess up. I still fumble over my words. I still feel that insecurity, like, okay, is this good enough? And not even for the audience, but for myself, because I'm my biggest critic. And I don't want to disappoint myself on stage, and let alone disappoint everybody else. I've taken a sabbatical from poetry. I feel that this art that I love, I could be doing so much more with it instead of just performing at open mics and doing shows. And like it's tough because I'm my own worst critic. And people will always say, oh, you'll always be great, you'll always do this and you'll always do that. But what if that time frame comes and I'm like, what have I really done? Besides written unfinished poems and notebooks. Nothing that I have said on stage I feel has implied or made my environment better. And I'm just talking about outside the audience. Because like people say this all the time, like, oh, your poems do this, your poems do that. And I'm grateful that my poetry has bettered an audience member's life. But then there are so many things happening outside the open mics that still need to be touched. And I'm not even talking about just with art. I'm just talking about in general. There's so many things happening in our society now that it's sickening and it's sad to see. But then you'll see people get dressed up and go to a poetry night and they want to be inspired, or I'm creative, or I'm cultured, but they still remain in that small box and not willing or able to help anyone else outside their box or help somebody who truly needs help. And I think that's the life that I feel torn on, because I love poetry. I will always write, I will always perform. But I feel in my life that I have this bigger and better calling to do something else besides what I'm doing right now. $500. 25,600 minutes is the amount of time that I need to be alone. Because 25,600 is the amount of words I have said in poems, but poetry and myself got a divorce a long time ago. She decided to step out of stanza with someone else with weaker lyrics and messed up melodies, what made me wonder, why am I even here? Like, why am I even standing here on this stage, her stage? I feel like I'm a puppet wanting to cut my strings, but I cannot. Love is just a noose with different knots.